Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of the series Weirds. My name is Malvina, I'm 14, and this is the show where we dive into all strangest things happening on our planet. Today, we have to talk about how the weather outside is officially acting so weird. Also, if my voice sounds a bit scratchy, it's because I have a sore throat right now. That is what happens when the weather changes by 20 degrees in one week. Literally, 20 degrees in one weekend. Picture this right now. I am wearing a giant winter puffer jacket and shorts with sandals. I look totally ridiculous, like I couldn't decide what season it was. But can you blame me? No, right? Yesterday morning it felt like winter. By lunchtime I was sweating, and by the afternoon it poured rain. We used to have normal seasons that took turns. Now they all are mixed up in a blender. Why is the weather acting like it drank way too much energy drink? So, today we are going to talk about weather change. To understand why our wardrobe are a mess and why my throat hurts, we have to look up at the sky, way up high. There is a massive river of wind called the polar jet stream. Think of it as a giant wall of wind that circles the earth. This wall keeps the freezing Arctic air up north and keeps the warm tropic air down south. So, what keeps this wind highway moving fast? A big temperature difference. The colder the Arctic is compared to the equator, the faster and straighter the wind flows. But here is the problem: the Arctic is warming up 4 times faster than the rest of the planet because its ice is melting. Suddenly, the North Pole isn't as cold as it used to be. When that happens, the jet stream loses its fuel and slows down. And when a big river of wind slows down, it starts to bend, wobble, and loop all over the place. These giant loops cause total confusion. Instead of a straight wall keeping hot and cold separate, the wind highway now takes random detours. It dips way down south, dragging freezing Arctic air into places that should be warm. Then it curves back up north, pulling hot tropical air into places that should be cold. That is why the temperature can drop drastically in just a few hours. You're standing right where the wind highway is buckling. It gets even weirder because the wind is moving so slowly, these loops get stuck in one place. If a loop gets stuck over your town while holding rain from the ocean, it doesn't just rain for an hour. It floods your neighborhood for 3 days straight. If a dry loop gets stuck, you get a massive heat wave, which most of the places have been recently getting. We always say, wow, the weather is so crazy today. But the weather isn't crazy. It just has too much energy. Like we used to do when we were 6, 7 years old. So yeah, like that. Every time we burn fossil fuels like coal and oil, we trap more heat. I think you guys know this fact because they produce most largely CO2. More heat means more energy in the air, and all the extra energy causes wild mood swings in the atmosphere. So, next time someone looks outside and says, "See, it's freezing today," global warming must be a myth. You can tell them the real science. Tell them, no, the planet is actually so warm that a giant wall of wind broke, and now the North Pole is leaking onto our plateau. So, what is the takeaway here? Until we cool the planet down and fix that wind highway, the weather is going to keep being unpredictable. My advice: wear the jacket with the shorts, keep an umbrella in your backpack at all times. Fashion rules doesn't matter anymore when science is this wild. Since this is the very first episode of Weirds, I'm also a bit nervous on releasing this out, and I may have pronounced some word unclearly and made mistakes in between, but please do forgive me. And if you liked my voice and the podcast and found it informative, please do subscribe. It would really help me out. Also, share this with a friend who is confused by the weather. Check the radar, pack some layers, drink some hot tea, and try not to get blown away. See you next time on